I'm going to tell you a story. First thing I have to understand is, time doesn't work the way you think it does. You can call me Oracle because I'm the one who's talking to you. Welcome to the call. Alright. For the record, it isn't, like, actually called. Just saying. I say welcome to the call because I think it's funny. Anyway. Alright. Gonna do, last chapter in the Book of Troth. Chapter 30, Greater and Greatest Blessings of the Troth. I'm gonna kind of just, like, skim through this mostly. Because a lot of it is stuff that's more or less in, like, core Atman Kasita and all, like, Soul and Spirit already covered in, like, the Wheel of the Year episode. There are some slight variations, though. So, the turning of the year. The greatest blessing of the winter nights, October 13th through 15th. That's literally all they say there. The dude says there. But that's a fascinating thing for him to say. Like, specifically that time. That's a very interesting time for him to say it. And it's interesting that it doesn't say anything else. Alright. The blessing of the Deeses. Actually, this might be part of it. The arrows all set up in the usual manner. The rite is performed by a female elder, or a Gidisha priestess, which is the most traditional method. Also, the use of ale or beer is more traditional to workings involving the feminine aspect. Ah, that's interesting. Hallowing. Thus our set is hallowed for our work here tonight, as the god Heimdall wards the Bifrost Bridge, so the set is ward against all unholy wights and ways. Reading the Voluspa from the Poetic Edda. Read in the posture says, "Hail, ye holy-eyed Deeses of the Harrow, hold ye a whole kindred, mighty mothers of old, turn our minds towards you, when ye nigh these winter nights." Call, the Figure lowers his arm, turns to gather folk, says, "Tonight we name the winter night and call forth the Deeses of the kindred. You have known." So Deeses are basically like the Fates. Just to fill in anyone who's wondering what the Deeses are. Baddies. I also were like, so I had this thing about, with the negative 3 Fates being in numbers. The 1, the 2, the East, the B, the 2, 14, the above Sussy, the West, the 7, the 3, and then the way, East, 10 we, and then the destinies of 10 ways that our life can wend, and weft, and day they do, and they's the way of the fates we do, as the probabilities align with the choices down the line. Anyway. Called. The Beaker lowers his arms, turns the gathered folk and says, "Tonight we name the winter nights and call forth Deeses to the kindred. You have been known by many names, ye great mothers of our folk, who drive us ever forward to more daring deeds and to more fruitful fields. Oh, ye spare eyes, ye wondrous womanly wights, all weird we call you. Jodies of the horse, Shorties of the sword, Bodies of the slain, Big Dees of battle, Asdies of the asses, Immerdeel of the fight, and Erdies of the host." Loading again, turning to Harrow, the figure pours ale into the horn and other drinking vessel, and hold aloft and say, "We give this ale blended with awe to you, O mighty mothers of all old." Respecting the ambi and the snail, I like that. Respecting the mothers and motherly love. Drinking. The horn is individually ended each true man and woman gathered before the Harrow. The folk are to drink half of the contents of the horn, the speakers to return the undrunk part of the ale to the Harrow, where it is poured into the blessing bowl. As each of the true man or woman is handed the horn, he or she makes a hammer sign over it and rim. May speak a spell from the heart on the coming year. That's interesting. It's a 3-day festival. My understanding, it's like literally actually, if this is similar to the Druidic equivalent of the New Year for which is like centered around Halloween, it's also supposed to be 3 days. That's part of where like Devil's Night comes from, because you get Devil's Night, you get All Hallows Eve, and then you have All Saints Day. Taken together, it's actually a 3-day festival. All right. Once the blessing and handing the horn around is complete, this said, The speaker stands before the arrow, makes the sign of the hammer over the center of the blessing bowl, while intoning the words, "This ale is hallowed to the deeds of the kindred and of the folk." The speaker then circles the arrow 3 times with the sun, all the while sprinkling the arrow itself with the ale from the evergreen bow. While doing this, he or she should say, "To all the dead Deeses and to all the awesome ides." Then, in a very pointed manner, the speaker should directly sprinkle the first of the members of the kindred, all the good folk and true. If any gathered are known to be uncommitted through the sprinkling, should be avoided. Giving, the speaker now remove. Whatever. I don't feel good about that last line. Well, whatever. It's there. So the speaker now removes the blessing bowl from the arrow, takes it to a point just north of the arrow, and pours its contents upon the bare ground with words. Holy mothers, men, holy mothers, women, we are daughters of Woden. To you we give this ale. Leaving. Again, the speaker returns to his original place before the arrow returns, faces northward, with arms aloft, and says, "From these nights as wild days of Yule, the walls between the worlds to the Dees is all dead, and to all the living here grows ever thinner. May the wisdom of these weird women, all loving, become known to all here tonight. Let's go forth and make merry, for the year is young." And that completes that. All right. The Blessing of the Elves. In addition to the Blessing of the Deeses, a Blessing of the Elves can also be performed on the winter nights. The procedure is identical to that of the Blessing of the Deeses. However, the speeches at point 3 is, "Hail the holy elves, shining of the harrow. Holy you hold the kindred, mighty elders of old, turn our minds toward you." So that's for the read. For the call, "Tonight we name the winter nights and call forth the elves of the kindred. You have been known by many names, ye great elders of our folk who have led us to the greater lore and fairest of the more fruitful fields. O ye light elves above and ye dark elves down under, we call to you. Fare you forth from under the realm of the light, upon the rays of the elves, stream up to us on high. Fare you forth from the realms of darkness under upon the ray of elves, stream to us from down under." For the loading, "We give this ale blended with all to you wondrous whites of the land and airs, to you awesome elves all old." For the blessing, this ale is hallowed to the elves of the kindred, to all the awesome elves, to those who drink in the darkness, and to those who live in the light. All right. The giving. "All ye elves of the elven realms, awesome elders all, weird land whites, to you we give this ale." And for the leaving, "From these nights to the 12th night of Yule, the walls between the dwellings of the dark elves and the light, and our world here grows ever thinner. The lore of the light and the dreams of darkness are becoming ever more known to us throughout this tide. Let us go forth and make merry, for the year is yet but young." All right. The greatest blessing of the Yuletide. Yuletide is December 20 through 31st. That's an 11-day ritual. What? That's a 12-day ritual. The Yuletide is a complex blessing. Ideally, it should be celebrated over 12 nights between the Mother Night and the 12th night, or Yule proper. It's like longer than Hanukkah and stuff. Wow, that's like Advent level. I don't know a lot about Advent. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't. But I know it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. During this time, you'll be generally celebration among family and very close friends. However, our modern world usually makes such of this impossible. I don't know. People are pretty militant about getting together around the holidays sometimes. It is fitting to read through the entire Poetic Edda, preferably out loud and gather. Yeah, he's very much about the Poetic Edda, which is understandable. Poetic Edda is actually pretty badass. All right. Mother Night, beginning of Yuletide, December 20th. And the 12th night, the Festival of Yule. All right. On the other night, an all-around blessing is to be held, which will ritually be answered by the all-around blessing held at midsummer. After the blessing, the gathered folk will partake of the most important symbol of the year, the symbol of the Yuletide, at which point the ancestor naturally closest to us, the living. Oops, skip through the 9 parts of that. 12th night, Festival of Yule. This is the culmination of the Yuletide and religiously the most important of the 12 nights of Yule. The rebirth of the sun is completed on this night. In the deep tradition of the Yule, oh, that's cool. It's a sun rebirth ritual. That's awesome. That's like old school Yule. Nice. In deep tradition of the Yule oath, the Yule Zapata, the origins of New Year's resolution are to be found. Yeah, Festival of Yule is, I guess, supposed to be held on the 31st. The 12 Days of Christmas is actually based off of this, but it's shifted from Mother Night to the 25th, and which gives rise to Epiphany on the 6th, which is when, 12 days after Jesus was born, they were found by Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were found by the 3 wise men who were Persian magi. Anyway, the harrow, which must be made of stone and set up outside an indoor room with a chimney or a smoke hole, is fitted with the horn, a vessel of beer or ale, a single red candle, and the Yule wreath in the center. Howling. The set is held with the hammer working, at the conclusion of which a ring is drawn on the ground around the gathered folk. Call. The officiator speaker says with the harrow facing north in the position that I've talked about in previous episodes. With the vessels of board, Yolnir Woden, Lord of the Yuletide, we call upon thee to witness. These are oaths of Yule. Jolehe skaltur hera och heit skulum ber et strenga. Thou shalt hear the oaths of Yule, and we shall bind the oaths. Oath taking. Each gathers drew men and women in order to rank and or age. Then steps up to the harrow with the right hand grasps the center of the Yule wreath. With the left hand, they lift the horn aloft and speak their own personal oath or boast. They make their boat. After the speech is wrought, he or she drinks half the contents of the horn, and they pours the rest out as a gift with the words to Yolnir and to the oaths of Yule. As each person finishes, the officiating speaker refills the horn for the next one. This is repeated until all oaths are completed, until all Zapotum are corroded. Lighting of the Yule wreath. Yeah, they're doing that. I like that. The speaker then takes a position before the harrow and pours out the holy fuel upon the Yule wreath. This may be any hallowed flammable substance. Rarefied butter or ghee is the most traditional. Wow, they use ghee for this. That's wild. The pattern for pouring the fuel is this tiny illustration of thus. And that's a map for how things can be set up. Oop. All right. The speaker pours out the fuel. He or she says, Yolnir, ruler of the Yuletide, we yearn for thy might, year the year in the yard to make. Then the flame from the red candle, signifying the old year passing away. The Yule wreath is ignited, and with the words, "In the year of this Yule, we tried and true, we have plied our troth and truly pledged to hold these holy oaths in the year of this Yule." As the wreath is burning, the speaker says, "Yolnir, rolling the Yule, we earn thy might. That for thy might, that when the yarn of the year is yielded, year the year in the yard was made." In the yard. Gotta be careful out in the yard, man. The gathered folk then watch the flames as they burn, the wreath carrying their oaths aloft. While gazing at the embers of the wreath glowing on the harrow, individuals may be moved to make prophecies for the coming year. Leaving. No formal closing is used here, as the purpose of the rite is opening of the whole of the year to come. Each retreats his or her time back to the main gathering area. All right. Late blessing of the disting. Great blessing of disting around February 14th. So if you wanted, you could actually probably do it around now. Disting is a festival of importance to the home region. It is given to the Dices, from which it gets its name. Thus it is strongly linked to the Winter Nights Festival. But it is really given more for gatherings of a social and or clinic nature, and traditionally at a time when local things are held. Thing is an old word for a gathering. Where are you going? I'm going to the thing. And actually, interesting thing, if you've ever seen the anime Plunder, the all thing is actually a reference to that kind of thing. It's a time when all the landowners would get together and basically like cast ballots, which is why the whole like ballots thing is exceedingly strange and interesting, especially for fighting over them. It's and betting them. It's fascinating, honestly. Um, At this time, the earth is prepared to have seeds sown so that the growth will take place in the land. If a formal thing is held, the rites particular to opening and closing things should be performed. These are described in detail in the section concerning the tide of the great thing. Also, gifts may be given to Theses and elves at this time, but it's good time really most holy to the goddess Freya and to the god Vali. Freya is pronounced in her erotic aspect at this time, and blessings designed to bring out this quality are the right to do during this tide. Also, is the right time to burn the blessing of Vali, the god of vengeance, and thus of rebirth. Alrighty. So there's a blessing to Bali. I'm going to skip over it because I'm running a bit long right now. All right, the blessing of Equinox, Astara. This festival is traditionally celebrated with an all-night vigil in which the gathered folks stay up through the night and while remaining indoors. In the hour before sunrise, they make a procession to the area in which the blessings take place. They should ideally be where the sunrise can be clearly seen. As the first light of the spring is seen, the working begins. There is the herald for it. Alright, it's, so, they evoke Heimdall, and, daughter born on Dunning's Door, Great Gate of Day, Easter, which is also a name for Astara. So, they use Easter and Astara pretty much interchangeably for this. Yeah, alright. The Great Blessing of Walburga and May Day, the Festival of Walburga's Night, and April 30th and May Day, May 1st. Walburga's Night is the most mysterious of the rites normally performed by all-round kindred or hearth. It contains many runic secret elements. Most find it very beneficial to dive into the depths of self on occasion. The working formula is slightly different from the other blessings, as sharply contrasted by a bright light-bearing festival the following day. They are set up with the following fashion, with a fire pit south of it diagram, also direction the dancing described in the wielding section below. Whoop. Whoop, boom. Hoff is raised on high. Let's let all within this Hoff, and that's a pretty long one. All right. They also do. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make this quick because I don't want to be getting to a 30-minute episode here. All right, they do blessings also on May Day, including. So there's a sample on Walburga's Night. Walburga's Night, and there is mention of Maypole on May Day. Greatest Blessing of Midsummer, June 21st. That's an important saint day in Voodoo, if I remember correctly. This is one of the three greatest blessings of Troth, at which all gifts are yielded to the gods and goddesses that Troth together to celebrate the three blessings. The two being Yule and Harvest are the essential acts of good and true good men and women. There are set in standard fashion. Read Baldur's Dreams. Invoke all the major Aesir. Rune Lord, what? Yep. vocoden, do the loading and the drinking, do the blessing, the giving, and the leaving. Great blessing of the Thing's Tide, around August 23rd. The Thing is a very complex situation. It is a political convention, a session of government, a court of law, a religious festival, a fair market, and a party all wrapped into one. Its timing is also interesting. It comes in late summer for northern climate, and it should be called upon to begin in the 3 or 4 days leading up to a full moon. Religiously, the high point of the Thing Tide should be the performance of all-around blessings of gods and goddesses like the ones performed at Yule or Midsummer. The Thing Tide is called to order with a blessing of Teo on the evening on the first day of the Thing, and is called to an end with another blessing of Teo on the morning of the last day. Has that standard 9 steps. I have another diagram for you. Boop. All right. The Harvest Festival, the Great Blessing of the Wains. Oh, the Wains. And that is done September 23rd. There's a call and answer to pretty much all of them. And it's actually, as opposed to just a simple call, it's a call and answer, which is fascinating. And that finishes that section. Then there is part 3. Part 3 is more directly about if you want to contact the author's organization, which is basically that dude trying to basically revive that folk religion. There's a bibliography, which is extensive. This guy did a lot of research, and it shows. There's a glossary. And, alright. I don't know if these are still available, but for further information on the Troth Ring of Troth, P.O. Box 18812, Austin, Texas 78760. For information on runic practice, write the Rune Guild, P.O. Box 7622, Austin, Texas 78713. All right. With the booyah and the truth and the way of the weave, and that's the way that it goes. If you were back to acting, oh my, if you're interested in contacting them, let me know if they still are around to answer you, cause I'm not gonna pursue this for myself in the true, but if you would do that for yourself, and I'm interested to let me know what happens if you were like interested. So to say I'm moving on, and that's who it be. Dreams safely to everyone now in the week.